Hey YouTube, I got to update my bag here. This is my survival pack that I take in the woods with me. I just figured I'd show you what was in it. I carry a lot of extra stuff in it because I have two small children that come with me sometimes. So I'll have some extra stuff in there. There's also redundancies, which are important. So I got my licenses here. I've got some first aid stuff, and that varies widely. So I got some steri strips, some dressings, bandages, triangle bandages, safety pins, I have an emergency blanket, I have heating pads, or hand warmers, foot warmers, stuff like that. They do seem to expire. I've had some that were over a year old and they don't work anymore. So that's something to consider. Because I usually have the kids with me, I have more than one survival blanket. Some iodine pads. Toilet paper. Yes, I know you can use leaves, but you know, it fits in my pack, so why not? I have a knife sharpener. I have a saw. Snare wire. More bandages and triangle bandages. I have a small fishing kit with hooks and bobbers and flies, and then I also have this as well that you can use as a fishing kit, and you would need larger hooks for that, obviously. I have wire that I carry when I'm trapping, another type of knife sharpener, some scissors, multi-tool. If you're going to buy a multi-tool, you don't necessarily have to buy top of the line, but be careful. For example, like if you're going to carry snare wire, you want to make sure that the wire cutters here will actually cut wire. I have a pair of these where the snare wire will actually go in between the wire cutters and it won't cut at all. So you want to test that out before you go. More iodine pads. I do have water treatment pills. That's for an absolute dire emergency, because I believe the only way to purify the water is to boil it. I have a steel cup for boiling. I have string or cordage that I can use for just about anything. I can use it for fishing. I can use it for trapping small game. I can use it for building shelters. It's a pretty strong cord. In here, I have some of that wire mesh you can use for starting fires. I have some tape for the first aid stuff. A little bit more snare wire. As you can see, I have used it. I also have a headlamp. And in here I have some fire starter, but the issue is, as you can see that from flopping around in here, these have opened, so there's actually a high probability that these aren't going to work. This one here should, this wet fire, because it hasn't been opened. These wet fires, I recommend those. They're excellent. They will start wet or dry. I think they come in packs of 12. They're relatively cheap, and a little tiny spark will get them going. These little fuel cells are for those little portable stoves that you can get. To boil about a liter of water, you'll need about 2 of those. So my kids are starting to get a little bit older, so my pack is going to start getting lighter. You know, triangle bandage, maybe a dressing or 2 would be good. Survival blanket, but most of the other stuff you can make up while you're out there. In this pocket is my fire starting gear. You've seen some of these in my other videos. I do carry the matches for last ditch effort. I don't generally use them. I've got a Sparky here. I've got 2 ferro rods. Both of the heads have come off. Bushcraft Bartons has a video where they made handles out of fat wood. So that's a good backup plan as well, because if you can't find your tinder, then you can always use your fat wood handle to start a fire. So that's what my plan is with these. So next time I go and check my bait site, I'm probably going to grab some fat wood, and then we'll make these handles from those. Magnesium with a striker, and then I have a backup knife. It has a couple different blades on it. So there's your basic blade. There's a blade that's serrated as well with a gut hook, and a little saw. And on the other side, I have binoculars. They're not big fancy binoculars. They're 10 by 25s, 288 feet, is 1,000 yards. They're generally good enough for what I'm doing. I, of course, have my compass. I have some backup batteries, and a piece of chaga. So everybody's pack is subjective. You know, you don't necessarily need everything I have here, or you may need more than I have here. I know I don't need everything I have here, but again, like I said, when I have the children with me, you know, a little tiny cut on a kid, you put a Band-Aid on it, and it's better than any anesthetic or sutures or anything you can put on them. So that definitely helps. And in the summertime when we go camping, there'll be a lot more first aid stuff in my kit, as well as I teach them how to do different first aid things. So every year, every season, my pack changes just a little bit. You know, some years I'll have animal calls in there. Um, you know, just different products for different reasons. Um, but I generally will not go in the woods without my survival pack, even if I know the area. Um, one of the easiest mistakes to make is saying I know the area, so I'm going to check this out, and next thing you know, you're lost. I have been lost twice. Both times I managed to get out on my own, no problem. I also carry at least one bag. You can use this bag for many uses. You can use it to start fires if you can get clear water to put in it. You can use it to hold food. You can use it for transporting water. If you take this and you put it on a tree branch, close it up and leave it over the day, this will sweat and you can gather water that way. So a bag has a lot of uses. You just want to make sure that it doesn't have any holes in it. Sometimes I'll even carry tinder in my pack. I'll use it I'll have it in a piece of cotton. I put it in cotton so that it doesn't sweat, and if it does get wet, then it will hopefully evaporate through the cotton. Couple redundancies is I carry a belt knife on me, but I also have this knife as a backup. I have this as a sharpening tool. That works by gently dragging across the blade, and then to polish it, then you do it backwards, or you can go this way, it doesn't matter, and then you go backwards to polish it. I also have the cheap and easy ones where you just put it on, drag it across. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to start a fire in the pack, and then if you can use a hand drill and a bow drill, that's great too. So that makes 6 and or 7 ways to start a fire. And then in the top part of my kit, I've got wire. And then I've got pain medication and antihistamines. And sometimes I also carry I can't think of the name right now. One of those pens for when you're in anaphylactic shock there. I'll carry one of those as well. So that's my pack at the moment. Again, it'll change through the year. Sometimes I'll put this flashlight in there. That adds quite a bit of weight though. So if I don't need it, then I don't take it. I've got the headlamp and I've got extra batteries, so that'll get me in and out of the woods or out of a pinch so that I can build a shelter. The other thing to remember too is if you're out in a full moon, if I'm hiking in a full moon, I carry my lights with me, but I don't use them. Full moon will give you lots of light. You know, unless you're in like really thick woods. And in the winter time, if it's a full moon and there's snow down, you hardly need any light at all. Well, you don't need any light. It's pretty impressive how bright it is in the woods during a full moon. You'd be surprised if you haven't tried it. So feel free to leave your comments, offer suggestions. I'd love to see what you have in your pack or hear what you have in your pack. So We'll see you next time. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Thanks.